Hey guys, today we're going to do a whole body mobility routine. Now this is a super basic routine. This is a routine that I get a lot of my clients to do. It's really simple. I'm going to try and keep it really basic for people who are not very flexible, for people who maybe find it difficult to get into certain positions. So I'm going to give you regressions and tell you ways that you can make things easier. This will take about 5 minutes in total. You can obviously make it last longer by just holding the stretches for a bit longer. If anything causes you pain, then just stop. So what you'll need is a towel and some cushions or some yoga blocks. These will become apparent why we're going to be using them. But go and grab yourself some cushions or towels and stuff now. And then when you've got them, come back and resume the video. So we're going to start on the floor and just start by kneeling. So this, for some of you, might stretch. You might feel quite tight through the knees, through the ankles, through the shins. If that is the case, what you can do, if you find this particularly difficult, is grab your cushions and put them underneath your bum, on top of your heels, just so that it takes some of that pressure off the knees. Now, if you find that actually your ankles are quite tight, then stick a towel under your ankles as well. So this should be relatively comfortable. You should be able to hold this position for up to a minute. We're only going to hold this for 30 seconds now. So get yourself down, kneel on the floor, find the position that's right for you. At the moment, for me, this is obviously too easy, so I'll start by taking a block away. Again, if that's too easy, then you can take things away as you need to, okay? So I'm just going to take these out just so I can get a bit of a stretch at the same time. So we've got 10 seconds left of this stretch. As you're stretching, don't forget to breathe. From here, bring yourself all the way down. Try and get your chest down towards the floor and push your arms out. Stretch out through the sides of your back. Just relax and breathe. Some people like to have their hands down by their sides. Personally, that's not for me. So I'm going to keep my hands out here. Now moving into the next one, we're going to come forwards with our hips. So now we've got hands underneath shoulders and hopefully knees below hips. So this is a table position. And then we're going to some cat and cow. So push your bum back, try and arch your back and lift your head. Breathe in. And then as you breathe out, drop your head, tuck your tailbone underneath you, try and tuck your bum underneath and lift up your spine. And as you breathe in, go back into this one. And as you breathe out, go back down. Okay, from here, take your knees a little bit further back, push your hips forwards, drop your hips down and chest up. Now, if this is too hard, then what you can do is bring yourself down onto your elbows. And if you want to come down even more, then just take your hands and elbows further forward. So you want to be trying to feel a stretch through your abs, through the front of your body, and hopefully no pinching or pain through your back. As that starts to get easier, then bring yourself a little bit further and then just gradually just try and increase that extension through your lower back. Okay, from here, just lower yourself down, get your hands underneath you and bring yourself back up. Now from here, we're going to go into what in yoga they call the downward dog. So get your toes underneath you and lift yourself up. Try and get your legs straight and try and get your heels down. For me, this is not going to happen, but just get a stretch through the hamstrings. If you find that this is too much pressure through your arms or through your shoulders, Doesn't matter, just skip this one. You don't have to do this one, but just focus on your breathing. Okay, now what we're going to do is you're going to bring one foot forward as far as you can. Now for some of you, this might be enough. Just try and get your foot as far forward as you feel comfortable. So don't push yourself into pain. From here, try and push your hips forwards as much as you can. If you can't kneel on the floor, for whatever reason, you might have a knee problem, you could try putting a cushion or a towel underneath your knee. If this is okay and you can do this quite comfortably, try and get your hands down on the floor. Now, a lot of my clients actually really struggle to get into this position. So if you can't get into this position, it doesn't matter. Don't push yourself. Don't cause any injury. So for me, this is okay. So I'm just going to try and push my hips a little bit further down, just towards the floor. If you find that this is easy, then what you can try and do is get your elbow, the opposite elbow, to the foot, down towards the floor. But for most of you, this is probably going to be enough in this position. So we've done about 30 seconds. What we're going to do now is take this foot across your body and then get your knee down towards the floor. So in yoga, they call this the pigeon pose. I've got my hands just down here, just for some support. You can then, if you can, drop your hips down towards the floor. So you should be feeling this through the buttock at the moment. For some people, this is quite hard to get into. This is enough. If you want to increase the stretch, you could try just bringing your elbows down onto the floor. Don't forget to breathe. If you want to take that pressure off, come back up. If you want to make this even stronger, what you can do is grab your foot and take your foot further forwards. I like to pin my foot just so it doesn't slide back, and then just try and drop my hips down from here. So pick whichever one works for you. Now we've done about 30 seconds. Drop down onto that hip. With your back leg, bring that all the way around the front. Now, if you can, then this foot now comes up onto my other thigh. And from here, I'm going to try and get my knee down. So I'm pushing down with my elbow. I know that for a lot of my patients or a lot of my clients, they find that too difficult. So what you can do is to straighten that bottom leg. So that should take that tension or pressure out through the hips. And then you can lean back and just try and push your knee down with your hand. Keep breathing nice and slow. Take your time. Once we've done about 30 seconds, then grab your knee and bring that up and over towards the opposite shoulder. So my right knee is coming up towards my left shoulder. Now you should be feeling this through the buttock on the right. Okay, so now we've done one side. What we're going to do is reset. So we're going to bring ourselves back into this position, but this time we've got the right foot forwards. So come back into this lunge position. Try and push your hips forwards. You've got your foot in front of you. If this is easy, then we can increase that by trying to put our hands down on the floor. And again, pushing the hips or the groin sort of down towards the floor. If you want to make it more difficult or more intense, then drop the opposite elbow to the floor. But for most of you, this would probably be absolutely fine. If you can't get your foot as far forward as that, it doesn't matter. You can bring your foot further back to wherever you can manage, and then just try and work into that. Just work within your ability. So again, into this position, breathe and hold. Now we've done about 30 seconds. This foot's going to come across to the opposite side. This knee's going to come down towards the floor. Hands there to support you. And again, we're trying to drop the hips down towards the floor. If that's too easy, then drop yourself down and breathe. Okay, now we drop down onto that hip, take the back leg around and bring that foot or bring that ankle onto the thigh. Now remember, if this is too difficult, then you can straighten this bottom leg. For me, I'm just going to stay like this and I'm using my elbow to push down and breathe. So with this one, you should be feeling that on the outside of your hip. Now that we've done about 30 seconds, grab your knee and bring that up and over again towards the opposite shoulder. Okay, so now we've done mostly the lower body. What we're going to do now is we're going to stand up. We're going to go over to a wall or a door frame and stretch out the calves and chest as well. So come with me. Up we get. So we'll start with stretching the calves since we've already been doing lower body. Take one leg back as far as you can. Hold on to something so you're not going to fall over. Lunge forwards, keeping your heel down towards the floor and also keeping your knees straight. So this one you should feel like stretching just below the knee. So we're going to hold that. Okay, now ease off. Switch sides. Get that stretch through the calf. If you want to make it less intense, then you can just take your foot further forward. If you want to make it more intense, then take your foot back, but always making sure to keep your heel down on the floor. Okay, now we're going to go back to the original side, back to your first side. This time, don't step so far back. And what we're going to do instead is bend your knee and try and push your knee down towards the floor. Again, I'm keeping the heel down on the floor. Don't let your heel come up. And now come back up, switch your sides, bend your knee, push that knee down to the floor, keep your heel on the floor. Okay, now ease yourself out, shake your legs out. Now with whatever you're pushing against, let's say this is a door frame, you're going to just stretch through the chest just to open yourselves up from here. So what I like to do is get my arm about 90 degrees. So my upper arm is kind of horizontal and then place my forearm against the door or door frame. Whichever arm I've got up here, I'm going to put the same leg forwards. So in my case, right arm, right leg forwards. So I'm kind of stepping through, and now what I'm going to try and do is twist away from that arm. So you should then feel that through the chest. Don't forget to breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe out, you should feel that things start to loosen up a little bit, ease up. Okay, so that's one side done. Now we're just going to change over to do the other side. So this time, left arm up on the door frame, left foot forwards and step through and twist away. So twisting to your right. Ease yourself off nice and slow. And then the last thing you could do is with the top part of the door frame, one arm or two arms, just push yourself through so you're opening up through the lats, getting a bit of end range flexion going through the shoulder. So I'm just pushing through here. Try and keep your arms straight if you can. If for whatever reason you can't reach the door frame, the top of the door frame, find something like a windowsill or a desk, kitchen counter, and then do that from this kind of position instead. So now we've done one side, switch over to the other side. Straight arm, push your chest through and hold. Don't forget to breathe. And then ease yourself out. So that is my really simple whole body stretch routine. There are obviously a few things that we haven't done, such as the spine in rotation. We haven't done much in the way of extension through the shoulders. But if you're working at a desk or you're working from home and you just want something that's going to take about 5 minutes, this is a perfect little routine to do. Don't stretch into pain. So if there's anything that causes you pain or you can't get into that position, then just stop and don't do it. Go on to the next exercise. If you need to modify, such as using cushions or towels to put under your knees or to put under your ankles, then use whatever you can. Start with about 30 seconds for each stretch, and then over time build that up. So what you guys can do is watch this routine as often as you like, pause it if it's not long enough, and then just carry on, resume. Over time, hopefully you get a good feel of how this stretch routine flows. The idea is that it flows from one thing to another thing to another thing. So it kind of logically follows a little pattern. Let me know how you get on. Let me know if you like any of these stretches or which ones you found particularly helpful. If you found this helpful, then please give it a like. If you know someone who this video will be helpful for, then just share that with them as well. If you want me to do more of these kind of stretch with me routines, then please let me know. And guys, take care. I'll see you in the next video.